Yeah, hello, welcome. Hope you're well. Thank you for being here. And our penultimate episode of this live series. Can't believe it's gone so fast. It's always so strange when you plan something for like a week and it feels like, oh my God, this is going to be so much. And then it's like, you're near the end of it before you've even begun. So, yeah, welcome. Today, our topic is going to be about learning for fun can still mean making progress, because I feel like sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect, right? We feel like it has to be one or the other. So if you are just wanting to learn for fun, I want to reassure you that that's still good. You can still make progress. It doesn't necessarily mean that like you're doing it wrong. So we're going to talk all about it. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Lindsay. I am a language learning expert, passionate about helping you learn languages better. And in this video, we're going to be talking about exactly that. And specifically, like, well, what I just said, right? Like, if you want to be learning for fun, like your reason is, I enjoy it, yes, you can still make progress. So the reason I'm doing this is that right now there is a very, very cool bonus if you opt to work with me more intensely than YouTube. And yeah, I'll talk more about it in a minute, but all of the details, lindsaydoeslanguages.com/LL. And so let's get into everything. First of all, so language learning for fun is an absolutely perfect reason, right? When we think about the idea of what's a good reason to learn a language, absolutely there's going to be a reason. You need a reason. You probably have a reason, right? It's like, you didn't just sort of waltz into this by accident. But sometimes that reason is, I'm learning because I enjoy it. I'm learning because it's fun. I'm learning because it's like a nice hobby. It's something to do. And sometimes we can sort of be made to feel either directly or indirectly that that isn't a good enough reason, that we need something to be more real and firm and like big. We need to have plans to be moving abroad or raising our kids bilingually and all of those things, which are great. If that is your reason, that's great. But if your reason is, I enjoy it, that's a completely valid reason, right? You don't need a goal like, work abroad. Curiosity and enjoyment are more than enough to, be enough of a reason to learn a language. And in fact, when I work with people in language life, I would say it's like 50-50 in terms of people that have what we would typically describe as like a big reason, and people that are learning more for pleasure, more for fun, more as a hobby. It's kind of 50-50. So, you're welcome, right? Like I'm not going to be there going, oh, well, sorry, your reason's not good enough to learn, so we can't work together. No, absolutely not. Like you're all welcome, regardless of how sort of official sounding your reason is. And part of the thing as well is that, like, learning for fun, there's often this division in terms of fun versus functional. But when I describe language learning, right, like successful language learning, it's both of those things. In fact, there's three things. You will have heard me talk about this before. The three F's of language learning. It needs to be fun, it needs to be flexible, and it needs to be functional. So the fun and the functional, that's like together, right? Like they're not separate things. It's not like it has to be fun or functional. No, it needs to be all three, because otherwise, right, if we just have fun, if we're just doing the fun thing, like, I don't know, something very sort of stereotypical, like listening to music or watching a film, and we're not learning from that because we're not doing anything actively with it, or it's just not going in the way that, for some people it sort of seeps in, then it's not functional, right? So we're not learning, we're just enjoying culture, right? Which is totally fine. But if we then look at the other end of things where we think it needs to be functional, fun, that is, that's like extra, that's passive, that's lazy, it's not real, we just need functional, then you're going to burn out like very, very quickly. So we need to make sure that what you're doing is all of these three things. So if your reason for learning is fun, then chances are that fun, that first F of fun is already quite sort of checked off across the list of what you're doing, because your reason for learning is that you want to enjoy it, right? And so when that's the case, what tends to happen is when we're thinking about still making progress, because just for fun doesn't mean zero progress. If we're thinking about still needing to make progress, we want to then be thinking about how can we make it functional. and flexible. But in particular, often functional is the one that is tends to be lacking when fun is quite dominant, right? So all of the things that we do when we work together have been designed to help you get all of these three things into your language learning. And so, for example, like when you have your practice opportunities, right? The prompts and the challenges, all of those kind of activities, they're enjoyable. They're not just like study. It's not just like okay, I must do this very boring thing, but at the same time they're functional because it gets you thinking. Like someone messaged me, I think actually it was a YouTube comment the other day, and they said, I think the thing that I'm missing is just practice. It's like, yeah. Yep. 90% of the time, that is it. It's the practice that is missing because the practice isn't fun. We don't deem it as fun, right? So, what we need is more of that practice. We need to find ways to make the practice fun, to make it enjoyable so that we want to do it. We're looking forward to doing it, and then we're going to do it. And then the gap of the thing that's missing being practice gets filled with practice because we're looking forward to doing it. We've made it fun, right? So, like, how do we do that? How does that happen? How does it become fun? Well, part of it is that the prompts and the challenges, all of the practice opportunities that you get when we work together in language life are highly, highly flexible. They work for any language, for any level. I show you in the workshops associated with that part of the program of like how to really make the most of this, how to make any prompt work for you, any language, any level. I show you how to self-review so that like, you're not just da, 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 I've written some sentences, wasn't that lovely? Done. End of. You never go back to it, you never check it, you never like, you know, see how you did. Like that's good, right? If you're doing that, that's good. But we can really get more out of it when we know how to self-review properly. I think I mentioned this the other day, this idea of these three levels of self-review, how it can be you you aided, it can be tech aided, it can be human aided. And obviously human aided, that would be the ideal, but it's not always possible, right? We don't have like our language teacher on call 24/7, right? But what we do have on call 24/7 is tech, so we can check things for ourselves, we can judge for ourselves and decide like, how is this, what does this look like, is this looking good? Then we can check with tech, get some tech aided self review, and then we can check with a human as well. So like these kind of steps can really help just to make that fun side of things become more functional as well. Like we're not just da, 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 that was nice, I wrote a response to this prompt, end of story, move on to the next one. We've got a chance to really check what we've done and see, that mistake again is coming up again and again. I now need to spend some time figuring that out and fixing that bit for me. So we make it functional with things like that. And like the idea of fun not being like fun equals no progress as well. How can we really reframe that so that we recognize that fun and progress can be the same, they can go together? And I think that really everything that we just talked about helps to get started with that sort of different angle of thinking about things so that right, like actually I can do something that is ticking all three of these boxes. And it's like when we think about fun, we often think about it as being this nice extra, almost like as a reward. And sometimes that's good to kind of treat the fun stuff as reward. Sometimes that's useful for some of us if we're sort of motivated by that reward. But a lot of the time, that then means that we are kind of waiting and we're bored. We're bored in the main bit, and then it's like, oh, okay, now I can have fun. But how can we make the whole thing fun? How can we make the whole thing functional? That's what we want to be thinking about. And it's very, it's such a personal thing, which is why with language life, I don't want this to be something that is very much a one size fits all, this is the method, this is the system model kind of thing. It's very much like there's room for you in this program. There's room to center yourself and make sure that you are the core of every decision that's being made, because I want you to be able to trust your language gut. I want you to trust the decisions that you make for your languages. I want you to be able to speak and use the language confidently and fearlessly, absolutely. I want you to master your process. But more than anything, it's that trust in your intuition, right? That trust in, okay, I've made the right decision. That's what you want to be gaining from everything, which is why I want to make sure that you're at the center of it when we work together, and you have that chance then to check in with me, to get that one-on-one support when you need it throughout our time together, so that you're not kind of left straggling alone and thinking like, am I doing this right? I guess maybe not. Okay, well, that was another waste of time. Like, no, this is something different, because you have the chance to really get the support that you need. You're not just left kind of straggling around on your own, right? You've got that support to work through. So, Language Life is, I want it to be fun, flexible, and functional throughout. I want to make sure that we're having fun and it does mean progress. And I've really thought about that as I built out the course, because that's so core to me when I think about what language learning should look like. And so I want to make sure that the program that helps you learn languages better is also designed with that in mind. So, you have the Language Life Library, which is the self-study curriculum side of things. You have the human support with me. You have the regular practice. And all three of those elements really combine well to give you that perfect blend of like support, but not too much reliance and hand holding on a coach, which is really sort of an obvious, easy thing to happen sometimes when you work with a coach. And I want to make sure that you have the self-study, but you're not left on your own, which is the thing that can happen if that's just what you have on its own. Do you know what I mean? So like the whole program is very intentionally designed to give you all of the pieces that you need. And as I mentioned at the start, like right now, there's a bonus of 2 one-on-one VIP days, VIP half days, the 3-hour live on Zoom together, where we're going to dig into everything. We're going to create a custom plan for you. We're going to talk about like everything right now that is and isn't working for you in your languages. And we're going to go forward with like just this little level up, this little boost of making things better, making things feel good, so that you're not you're not going forward into you're not joining Language Life and then just being like, okay, what now, right? Like, you have that support from the very, very start with me to make sure that you've got a plan, you've got an idea of the direction that you're going in. And so, yeah, that bonus is only available, not long left now, until the 14th of October at midnight Pacific time. So there's less than a week to join and to get that bonus. If you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me at lindsay@doeslanguages.com. You can also, if you email, ask for a quick one-on-one. We can meet for a quick chat if you like as well. If there's something you want to discuss before joining, we can do that as well. No problem. My calendar is open for you. And yeah, if you're ready to go now, lindsay@doeslanguages.com/LL. All the details there, and you'll be able to join. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back for our final session tomorrow. And tomorrow we are talking about, let me check the calendar because off the top of my head, I've forgotten. Yeah. Is Language Life for me if I'm scared to speak? That's our topic for tomorrow, our final of these lives. And I will see you then. Thank you. Bye.